Red lights flashed across the command bridge of the Zorvath Union Station. Warning alarms screamed again and again. Officers rushed from one console to another, their faces pale and eyes wide. Commander Threx stood at the center, his claws tight around the rail. He was calm on the outside, but inside his heart was racing. The main screen showed a single signal moving fast through deep space. It was only one ship. Old design, damaged hull, weak energy readings. Yet the entire station was on red alert. A young officer named Kellen looked confused. He checked the data twice, then spoke with a shaking voice. "Commander, it is just one human warship. It is alone." The bridge fell silent. Several senior officers slowly turned toward him. Their expressions were not angry, but afraid. Commander Threx walked closer to the screen. The human ship grew larger with every second. Its speed was increasing, even though its engines looked unstable. "One ship is enough," Threx said quietly, "especially when it is human." Kellen swallowed hard. He had heard stories, but they sounded like myths. Humans were not the biggest, not the strongest, not the fastest. "So why the red alert?" Kellen asked. "Why are we calling the fleet back?" Threx looked at him, his eyes dark. "Because humans do not follow rules of war. When they should run, they advance. When they should surrender, they fight harder." The main console suddenly beeped. A red message appeared across every screen. "Red alert, human vessel identified." The station shook slightly as defense systems powered up. Energy shields formed around the massive structure. Weapons unlocked, ready to fire. Still, the human ship sent no message. No warning, no demand, no threat. It moved in complete silence. Kellen zoomed in on the hull image. Burn marks covered the surface. Large sections were patched with mismatched metal. "This ship should not even fly," Kellen said. "It is broken." Threx nodded slowly. "That is what makes it dangerous." A senior navigator spoke from the back. "Commander records confirm the ship's ID. It was last seen 20 cycles ago." The room grew colder. Threx closed his eyes for a moment. "Then history is repeating," he said. Kellen leaned forward, curious and scared. "What happened last time?" Threx opened his eyes and looked straight at the screen. 3 star systems went silent. No signals, no survivors, no warnings. The human ship crossed another boundary line. Still no response to hails. Still moving faster. Defense officers asked for permission to fire. Their claws hovered over control panels. Sweat rolled down their scales. "Hold fire," Threx ordered. "They want us nervous." The ship suddenly changed course. It was no longer heading toward the station edge. It was coming straight at the command core. Kellen felt his breath stop. "Commander, they are locking on." Threx stood tall. "Of course they are. Humans do not knock." The alarms grew louder. Red light flooded every corner of the bridge. The countdown timer appeared, showing minutes. As the human warship closed in, one truth filled every mind. This was not a scout. This was not a mistake. This was a message. And whatever that message was, the galaxy was about to hear it. "Who are humans?" The command bridge stayed silent after Threx's last words. Only the sound of alarms and machines filled the air. The human warship kept moving closer, slow but steady. Kellen watched the distance numbers drop. His hands trembled as he spoke. "Commander, why do humans scare the galaxy so much?" Threx did not answer at once. He turned away from the screen and looked at the officers. "Because humans remember," he said. He walked toward the central holotable. With one motion, he activated old star maps. Faded systems appeared, marked in red. These were once powerful empires. Threx said, "They defeated humans in battle. They celebrated victory." Kellen leaned closer. "But they are gone," he said softly. "Yes," Threx replied, "because humans do not forget defeat." The holo shifted again, showing damaged human fleets from old records. Ships burning, crews lost, planets falling. Humans lose battles. Threx continued. "They retreat, they bleed, they suffer, but they always learn." A weapons officer spoke, voice low. "They fight even when logic says stop." "Correct," Threx said. "When other species surrendered to survive, humans survived to surrender later." The human ship on the main screen shook violently. A burst of energy escaped from its engine. Still, it did not slow down. Kellen stared in disbelief. "They know they cannot win," he said. Threx nodded. "They know exactly what they are doing." The communications officer tried again, sending signals in every known language. There was no reply, no message. The officer reported. Total silence. That silence is the message, Threx said. Humans speak loudest when they say nothing. Kellen felt a cold fear in his chest. Why send one ship? He asked. Why not an entire fleet? Threx looked at him carefully. Because humans test fear first. One ship to see how we react. The holo showed another record. A human vessel entering enemy space alone. Moments later, hidden attacks followed. They provoke mistakes, Threx said. They make you rush. They make you overreact. The human warship crossed another defense line, close enough to be clearly seen. Its hull looked tired, but determined. Kellen noticed something strange. The weapons ports, he said. They are sealed. Yes, Threx replied. They are not here to trade fire. A heavy pause filled the room. Then why are they here? Kellen asked. Threx's voice dropped. To remind us, the engines of the human ship flared again. Power levels spiked beyond safe limits. Any other ship would have exploded. They are burning their own ship, Kellen whispered. Yes, Threx said. Humans burn themselves before they stop. A data officer interrupted. Commander, energy readings show overload. They will not survive this approach. Threx stared at the screen, unblinking. They do not plan to survive. Fear spread across the bridge. Officers understood now. This was not an attack for victory. This was an act of will. A statement written in fire and metal. As the human warship moved closer, one truth became clear. Humans were not coming to win today. They were coming to make sure no one forgot them. First, CO-anti-CT. The distance between the station and the human warship closed fast. Every second felt heavier than the last. The bridge crew moved with fear in their eyes. Weapons systems stayed locked and ready. Defense shields hummed at full power. Yet no one felt safe. Kellen watched the human ship closely. Its engines flickered like a dying star. Power spikes rose and fell without control. Commander, Kellen said softly. The ship is failing. It cannot survive much longer. Threx did not look away from the screen. That is when humans are most dangerous. Suddenly, the human ship slowed. Its forward lights dimmed. Energy readings dropped to near zero. A wave of confusion passed through the bridge. Several officers exchanged hopeful looks. Did it shut down? Someone asked. Sensors confirmed it. Weapons offline. Engines cooling. The ship drifted silently in space. Kellen felt his chest loosen. Maybe it is finally over, he said. Before Threx could answer, the communications console lit up. A single channel opened without request. A human signal broke the silence. The audio filled the bridge. A calm, steady human voice spoke. No fear, no anger. This is Captain Elias Grant of the Terran warship Atlas. Our ship is damaged. We are outnumbered. Officers leaned closer. The voice continued, slow and clear. But we are still here. Kellen's breath caught. The human captain did not beg. He did not threaten. Threx narrowed his eyes. Typical, he muttered. The voice returned. We did not come to negotiate. We did not come to retreat. Power surged through the human ship. Emergency systems reignited. Engines screamed back to life. The Atlas began moving again. Straight toward the station. Faster than before. Weapons officers shouted warnings. Target locking failed. Our systems are Screens flickered across the bridge. Targeting data scrambled. Missiles lost guidance. They are interfering, Kellen said, panic rising. How is that possible? Threx's voice stayed firm. Human chaos tech. They build systems that break rules. The human captain spoke again. This ship has one job, and it will finish it. The Atlas suddenly vented its outer armor. Metal plates fell away into space, revealing glowing core lines beneath. Energy readings spiked wildly, beyond safe limits, beyond logic. They are overloading their core. Kellen shouted, they will destroy themselves. Yes, Threx replied quietly, that is the point. Defense commanders begged for permission. Let us fire now. We can still stop it. Threx raised his claw. Wait, he ordered. The human ship changed vector again, not aiming at weapons platforms, not aiming at engines. It was aiming at the central signal array, the heart of communication and control. The human captain's final message played. For those watching, remember this moment. The channel cut instantly. Silence returned, heavier than before. The Atlas surged forward, a burning spear of light. Systems screaming as it crossed the final boundary. Kellen felt pure fear, not of destruction, but of purpose. Because this was no random attack. This was not rage. This was intent. As the human warship closed in, one thought echoed through the bridge. Humans did not fight to survive, they fought to be remembered. The human SDRI bridge shook as warning systems screamed louder than ever. Red symbols flooded every screen. The human warship Atlas was seconds away. Impact in 90 seconds, a voice announced. Fear spread across the command crew, yet Commander Threx remained still. Something is wrong, he said quietly. Humans never rush without reason. Kellen stared at the data stream. Then his eyes widened. Commander, the ship is transmitting. It is not a weapon signal. Another officer added. It is data. Before anyone could react, a powerful pulse burst from the Atlas. Waves of light spread across the system. The station's displays froze, then shifted into unknown symbols. Systems lagged, then failed. What did they do? Kellen shouted. Threx's voice turned cold. They were never attacking us. They were waking something up, deep in space, far from the station. Small signals began to answer the pulse. Hidden for years, now alive. Unseen human drones, activated. Buried in asteroid fields, drifting inside debris clouds. They were planted long ago, Threx realized. Before this conflict even began, the bridge filled with chaos. Navigation failed. Weapons went offline one by one. They planned this, Kellen said in shock. This ship was a key, not the weapon. The Atlas continued forward, its hull glowing bright white, core energy tearing through the frame. The human captain's words echoed in Threx's mind. We win by patience. The drones began their work, not attacking ships, but slicing through communication lines. Fleets lost contact with each other. Command signals vanished. Orders turned into silence. This is a system takeover. A tech officer cried. They are blinding us. Threx slammed his claw onto the console. Humans do not fight armies, they fight control. Outside the station, space lit up. Invisible human machines moved with purpose. Too small to target, too many to stop. Kellen watched the chaos unfold. All this from one ship. He whispered. The Atlas slowed at last. Its mission nearly complete. Its structure breaking apart. Energy alarms hit critical levels. Containment failed. The ship began to tear itself open. They knew they would not escape. Kellen said, voice low. Yes. Threx replied. They accepted the cost. A final data surge spread across the system. Every drone responded at once. Human control sealed in place. The Atlas drifted, burning and broken. Its engines silent for the last time. A sacrifice written in light. The bridge fell into stunned silence. No cheers, no victory cries. Only understanding. Humans did not arrive to conquer today. They arrived to prepare tomorrow. And now the galaxy was trapped inside a plan that began years ago. The ending, the command bridge, was quiet now. Too quiet. Only broken systems and fading alerts remained. Outside the station, the human warship Atlas drifted in pieces, its lights slowly fading into darkness. The ship was gone, but its shadow remained. Kellen stared at the wreckage on the main screen. All that power, he whispered, and they gave it away. Commander Threx stood tall, but his voice was heavy. Humans do not measure victory by survival. They measure it by result. Reports came in from across the system. Communication lines were still down. Fleets were blind and scattered. Without orders, ships pulled back. Captains chose caution over pride. The advance stopped. Retreat is spreading. A navigation officer said, no one wants to stay. Threx nodded slowly. They understand now. Kellen turned toward him. Understand what? That humans do not need numbers, Threx replied. They need time. Far across the galaxy, emergency signals changed. Old warnings were rewritten. New rules were added to galactic records. One line appeared in every defense archive. Never ignore a human ship, even if it is alone. The Zorvath fleet pulled back beyond the border, not defeated by fire, but by fear and respect. Salvage teams refused to approach the Atlas remains. Sensors still showed unknown activity, as if the ship was watching even in death. Kellen felt a strange chill. They are gone, he said, but it feels like they are still here. Threx allowed a rare pause. Yes, he said softly, that is the human victory. The galaxy would speak of this day for generations, not as a great battle, but as a warning. Humans had sacrificed one ship to save millions of lives elsewhere, a trade they accepted without hesitation. No monuments were built, no songs were sung, yet the message spread faster than any fleet. When humans come quietly, when they arrive alone, the war is already decided. and somewhere in the vast dark of space, human plans continued to move, patient, silent, unstoppable.